Guiding the faithful during these pandemic times. Many churches have simply stopped doing in-person services, and some have turned to online only. That's because of the limitations on public gatherings in Saskatchewan. Well, one of those churches that's going solely online with its services is Regina's St. Paul's Anglican Cathedral. But these pandemic rules have also affected people in need, people who depend on some of the church services for some critical services for them. So we are joined now by the Very Reverend Mike Sinclair from Regina. Reverend Sinclair, welcome to the program.
Hi, Costa. Thanks for having me.
I want to ask you about the decision to not have the in-person services. What led to that?
Well, we realized that as a community of faith and as a public service, we kind of have a contract with the general public, and that is that we do no harm, first and foremost. The move was made not only with our church, but with all the churches in southern Saskatchewan in our diocese, to be able to not only protect our members, but also to protect the rest of our society through our members. We realize that with numbers of COVID-19 rising and deaths unfortunately increasing, that there seem to be fewer statistically spaces that are safe to go out. And so we figured we can do what we need to do right now, by and large, online. And in doing so, we can help to maybe create some more safe spaces for people to go out and do things like go to a medical appointment, go to the pharmacy, go and do their groceries.
And what's been the reaction from the members of the congregation with this?
Of course, you're always going to have people that feel that we should be getting together no matter what, but I'm happy to report that those are very few. Almost across the board, people are very supportive and recognizing that this is a time for us to be doing our best to be sacrificial and really to be helping in every way that we can in all of with everybody that's working so hard frontline.
And some people, though, do seek out the church for some kind of help to get through this pandemic and this personal connection that maybe some yearn to have with you in a one-on-one service, for example, means a lot to some people. So what impact does that have on people at the congregation?
Oh, well, it definitely changes the way we have to do things. As you mentioned, part of the strength of what we do is being able to build community and being able to offer personalized service to people in times of real need. And there's a lot of that right now. So what we've had to do is to switch to more phone calls, more text messages, emails, Zoom calls, FaceTime, just doing our best to keep in touch with people. I mean, I keep saying to members of my congregation, look, if somebody crosses your mind once and you haven't seen or heard from them for a while, then send some good vibes their way. If they cross your mind twice, then give them a call.
You know, your church, being a downtown location, certainly has a very good reputation for helping people in need, and it has a history of doing that. What impact have these pandemic rules had on that?
Well, that's been really tricky. We've had a 20 to 25 year history in various ways of having a relationship with Regina's street community, and largely that's been through providing kind of a safe space to land on a Saturday morning and food programs. Because of the pandemic restrictions, which we fully support, we've not been able to do that in the same way. In fact, we've not been able to do it at all in our capacity, in that we used to be able to serve a hot meal as well as a bag lunch. And right before the pandemic hit, we were reaching numbers on a Saturday morning of about 330 to 340 people. We simply can't maintain distance and safe space in that time, as well as you know, either for our participants or for our volunteers.
So what does this mean for these people, these street people who have come to depend on you for that treasured hot meal that you're serving and the bag lunches?
Yeah, well, heartbreakingly for us, it means that they've had to go somewhere else. And we've had to say over and over again to people, either through, as they come up and see posters that we have up on our doors, or if they happen to catch us in the office, to be able to say, look, we're not able to help right now in the same way that we normally would, but we do our best to direct them to places that are currently able to meet the need.
And how is the community able to meet the need of these people? What sense do you get? Because they're not coming to you now, they're going someplace else.
Right, and that's one of the big challenges that faces us right now. Unfortunately, a number of years ago, there were some pretty serious cuts that were made to to our social safety network that really worked out to anywhere from $20 to $40 less per person on social assistance a month. Now, that may be not much to the average Joe, but if you're living on living hand to mouth, $20 to $40 a month means that you're choosing constantly as to whether you're going to feed yourself or your kids, or whether you're going to have a place to live or buy your meds. So what it's meant is that those very thin resources that were already stretched pretty thin are stretched even more thinly.
There have been some faith services around the country that have been well publicized where they've had too many people, there have been charges laid, fines laid, and you hear about these stories that seem to come to the surface from time to time. What crosses your mind when you hear about that?
Yeah, believe me, as a faith leader, I understand the desire to be getting people together, because that's by and large where churches live, and we're so used to doing things that way. Again, I won't speak out against someone else's decision, but I will say that we stand fully behind our decision to do our best to create more safe spaces out in society, as well as doing our best to live the sacrificial love that we're constantly talking about. Love your neighbor as yourself.
I've watched a little bit of your online service. You do a good job, Reverend Sinclair. So good, and you're working on that. And technically speaking, you have to kind of overcome some barriers too, I gather, to get a good kind of quality broadcast, so to speak.
Yeah, we started doing online services back when the pandemic first started, and it's been a crash course for everybody that's been doing it. Trying to use a variety of means, either an iPhone or an iPad or a computer or an external camera. I'm learning over and over again that one thing I am not is a producer.
Well, you do a good job, and thank you so much for sharing your stories. And let's hope you can be back in there with your parishioners and helping all those people in need as well. All the best to you and your family.
Thank you, Costa. Same to you.
Bye-bye.